What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here on the soon-to-be John Rocha channel. I am John Rocha, joined as always by the insider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you?
Hello, Johnny boy! Happy whatever day this is airing.
Yeah, it'll be a Tuesday morning. We're recording this on a Monday evening. It'll be up on a Tuesday morning, but we are doing this because we said that when the situation calls for it, we will try to have 2 shows a week, and certainly, Jeff, a lot of stuff happened over the weekend, and then some stuff happened today. Happened today. Of course, we're going to get into all of it, and sometimes we'll be live, sometimes we won't be live on these second shows. This is just one we can't do live because of time and everything like this, but we're going to jump into things, and please send in your support anyway. There's a thanks button down below. You can always send in your support in that way as well, and let us know your thoughts as you go along when you watch this episode. But Jeff, we'd be remiss not to start with a little bit of sad news, of course. This news happened today, or broke today. Malcolm Jamal Warner, 54 years old, really just not, I mean, like, that is just so young nowadays. Sadly, passed away as a result of an accidental drowning while he was vacationing with his wife and daughter in Costa Rica. The reports are that he was caught by a high current in the ocean and died of asphyxia. And of course, all of us know him from playing Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. He was also in a few movies like Drop Zone, Tuskegee Airmen, 15 Minutes, Fool's Gold, but then became a main character in a number of sitcoms like Malcolm and Eddie, Read Between the Lines, and along with shows like Sherry, 10 Days in the Valley, and then had recurring roles in Suits, American Crime Story, Community, one of my favorite recurring roles of his, Major Crimes, Sons of Anarchy, American Horror Story, Sneaky Pete, and 911. So, Jeff, a sad loss here. Your thoughts, your reactions, your feelings about Malcolm Jamal Warner here?
I mean, I was bummed when I saw this.
Yeah.
Like, Theo. I mean, you just read off a whole bunch of credits, but at the end of the day,
yeah,
this is Theo.
Right.
And, there was no inclination that he was sick or anything like that. To hear that he got, caught by a wave or swept into the ocean or whatever. I mean, on a family vacation in Costa Rica, terrible, just tragic. And yeah, like you said, only 54, way too young. I love The Cosby Show. Like, I know it's not cool to like The Cosby Show anymore because of Bill Cosby and his legacy, but that was such a great show, and I watched countless episodes after school. Yeah. And he was amazing on that show. And so it was heartbreaking to see that, like, this is how, Theo ends.
Yeah. I found out about this news on the Christian Harloff show live. Like, we reacted to it live. It was pretty heartbreaking. And I've had a few friends reach out to me already today who are around my age who were like, I can't believe this. This is such a shock. This guy was such a big part of our childhood growing up. And, he's one of those rare actors, Jeff, that started out as a child actor, clearly, or as a younger actor, and was able to keep working, was able to keep popping up, was able to do stuff, even had a podcast. And certainly when he appeared, he was always delivering good work. It was always fun to see him, and grew into this man and had a wife, kids. He was living a good life, it seems like, and just got caught up, sadly, in a current here. And just a random thing, how people die sometimes. And it's just heartbreaking. And I like that he defended the show even after all the stuff and happened with Cosby. He's like, the show is still important. He may be a terrible person for what he did, allegedly, but the show is still important to show upwardly mobile Black people in the 1980s, a doctor, and I think she was a lawyer, and the kids and what they dealt with. And our show still speaks to the upward mobility of Black people. And I think that's an important part of the legacy of his performance and the show. So, yeah, it's a shame. It's an utter shame.
Yeah, I mean, they dealt with a lot of. We watched Malcolm grow up in front of our eyes, really, on that show, and they did deal with a lot of, tough issues, particularly through his character, because he was the only Huxtable son.
Right, that's a good point.
And we saw his friends. Like, I mean, Adam Sandler was one of the friends, right?
Right.
So that show birthed a lot of careers. And though I admittedly did not really keep up with Malcolm Jamal Warner's career after The Cosby Show, that's a piece of TV history, and he'll be missed.
Absolutely. And our prayers and condolences out to his family and his friends, of course, and all of us who are fans of his work. There's no easy way to transition out of it. We got to transition out of it. And let's move on to the big story here. Jeff, Kevin Feige gave a lot of interviews all over the weekend with Fantastic Four coming out, he talked about a 7-year plan. He talked about how they were pumping out too much content and it was quantity over quality, even though he was in charge the whole time. He confirmed the film output for Marvel is slowing down to just only 3 films a year with 1 live action TV show. He says they have no intention to changing their approach to filmmaking. He talked about resetting the MCU to singular timelines, talked about not necessarily rebooting, just kind of honing everything a little bit more, and made it very clear that some of these characters are not going to make it back. He also talked a little bit more about Blade and talked more about the X-Men. So what did you think of about all of this? Is it really interesting to drop this on a Sunday right before we get into Fantastic Four week while Superman has crossed over $400 million globally? What do you think of these comments and these answers and his responses to these questions?
I mean, it's a mix.
Yes.
I wish I had my phone in front of me. I definitely got some texts that were like, "What a nothing burger of an interview!" Like he,
yeah,
a lot of headlines in which he manages to say not a whole lot. Honestly, the most interesting thing I thought that he said was when he talked about his contract ending.
Yeah, he did say like this has been the talk around the studio that moving on, transitioning, succession plans.
I mean, I think Kevin Feige is the most successful producer in the history of Hollywood, and he can do whatever he wants. And if he wants to continue to reboot the MCU and recast his old friends, that is up to him. But like I've kind of been saying, wouldn't shock me to see him leave after X-Men is reestablished in the MCU. I feel like that is sort of a great way to sign off and move on to greener pastures, because you just can't keep doing this your entire career, can you? Right. Unless you really want to.
You mean what being one brand? Because he made it very clear that he still wants to continue making big movies for the rest of his life.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's a natural filmmaker and everything. It's just, I'm sure there are a lot of other opportunities where he'd get more responsibilities, more, bit more power, essentially. I mean, I've always heard that he wanted that Alan Bergman role or whatever at Disney.
Oh, yeah.
That would kind of give him oversight of everything, not just Marvel. So yeah, it's just interesting to hear him allude to his own contract situation when I don't really feel like maybe he was asked about it. It seemed like it kind of came out of the blue, but I wasn't in the room. Isn't that funny? I mean, that's the sort of, I'll admit that it's, maybe out of jealousy or whatever. But that was my first reaction to this, is it's like the whole, we invited a group of select journalists to the studio to have this conversation. Okay, well, I wasn't invited. And you know why I wasn't invited? Because they're afraid. They're afraid of the questions that I'm going to ask.
Right.
Because I know more than probably most of the people who are in that room, lapping up whatever answers Kevin has to give them. So it's like, hey, if you don't want me to question things, then put me in the room. But until they do, I thought it was a cowardly move on his part, a cowardly move on Marvel and Disney's part. I mean, Disney PR has been fucking atrocious. If you're looking at the level of journalists that they're allowing to interact with the Fantastic Forecast.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, they're just embarrassing themselves. It's not just like the journalists are being themselves.
Yes, right. They're
doing what you knew that they were going to do. It's your fault for letting them in the door. Okay, I may be what I am, and I may leak your plans and start rumors that don't prove to be accurate. But at the end of the day, you know that when I'm with talent, I'm going to take it fucking seriously. And they don't want that. They want these clips to go viral, and they want everybody, passing these embarrassing clips around because it generates conversation, and that's the sad thing these days.
But I think it undercuts it too. I said this on my show yesterday. Like I said, like this, there's no interest from these interviews to go see Fantastic Four. You are not convincing one person to buy a ticket to go see Fantastic Four from these train wreck interviews. It just doesn't make sense, especially because you're like you said, you put your talent on the spot and they have to react to this stuff without knowing what's going on. And you're using the C word, which I know in some countries is not a big deal, but like still bringing it up in a thing. And then you're going, is he a daddy? And you're like trying to get him to come out. Like, to me, it's like, it's nonsense. Some of the stuff that was going on in these interviews.
Total crap.
Yeah. And I'm so surprised the actors don't put their foot down and go, no, hell no. We have a union, for God's sakes. How is this not being put out there that they're not going to be interviewed by these influencers, these TikTok viewers, these clowns, that they want to be interviewed by legitimate journalists? It's just mind blowing to me.
I mean, I realize I'm kind of on the outside looking in, but if I was like, Perry, who's a good reporter and does, ask interesting questions at junkets, I'd be like, why you're giving junketeers a wrong name? Like, we already have it hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
People taking us seriously. This doesn't help matters.
No.
So if I was one of the people at the junket, I'd be like, why are these other people here?
Right. It's almost insulting because it's saying like, oh, anybody can do an interview. It's basically what you're saying, and
yeah, like, I mean, listen, there were so many things here between Feige and Gunn that we can talk about. Like,
let's go. What do you want? What do you know?
The Blade stuff, where it's like, well, we don't just want to like throw a trench coat on, or black leather jacket on,
right,
Mahershala, and then have him kill vampires. It's like, okay, well, it's been like 7 years, so like, I don't think that's just like the problem. You've wasted time and millions of dollars in development. And what do you have to show for it? And what is the plan here? And to go, but it's just like, why even do this unless you really have something to talk about? Just saying, yeah, we're still working on Blade, and yeah, Jake Schreier is directing X-Men. It's kind of just like, what was the point of me coming up here to Burbank?
I think he made it very clear too that he's going to call a lot of these characters, even the ancillary characters, like was it Harry Styles' Star Fox, Charlize Theron's Clea, Brett Goldstein's Hercules. He's like, check in with me in 12 years and see if they've come back. So it's very clear that they are setting up, as we've been speculating in other places, Jeff, as well, that they are going to cut a lot of these characters, a lot of these actors out of the MCU, out of Marvel, and maybe they'll come back if the storyline calls for it down the road. But it's very clear that he's preparing everybody that he's going to start cutting like crazy, and and that DEI comment I thought was a little hilarious. Like, oh, we were Marvel, what you see out your window. And it's like, it's retconning history. The first 10 years of the MCU, people were complaining that it was just all white and there were hardly any characters of color. And if they weren't really massively important, or they're kind of caricatures to the overall stories. It wasn't until Black Panther that things started to turn around. Maybe that's Ike Perlmutter's situation or whatever, that he was the one stopping it. But to pretend like Marvel wasn't having this problem from the beginning, I think was a little hilarious. But what are your thoughts on the Kang Doom stuff? That's the thing that stood out to me, that he was saying, oh, we were already moving on from Kang before Ant-Man 3. I think that's a little disingenuous. I mean, there were all these plans for animated stuff. Bo DeMayo went crazy on Twitter calling him out for this stuff. This was a little bit of retconning, right? To save face or save the brand. What do you think?
I mean, I think so. Granted, there were so many pieces. I mean, I don't know who was in this room. There were so many pieces generated. I didn't read them all.
Yeah.
And that's why it's better to just have one piece from one good journalist, rather than just an entire room. If you put 10 people in a room and something happens, you're gonna get 10 different perspectives on what happened in the room.
Right.
The Kang stuff, you're right, it felt disingenuous. It felt like an opportunity to rewrite history based on what happened. This was one of Hollywood's biggest up and coming leading men. You're telling me you were already like pivoting? I just don't buy it.
No. The fact that he said that actor, he didn't even say his name, which may be a legal thing. I don't know, but it was really odd to see that he would answer it this way. Yeah, I came out of this interview feeling like less like I like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've enjoyed him in the past and thought he was really cool and did the interviews, was really playful and open about this kind of stuff. Now it feels like this is a punch drunk fighter who still thinks he can get in the ring.
It's all corporate speak. This is, coached.
Yeah.
When you're not saying the name Jonathan Majors, that's because some PR executive sat you down and said, just refer to him as the Kang actor. It's just so, it lacks authenticity. And that's the thing. Like, all these interviews, whether it's Feige or whether it's Gunn, and their whole thing is like, this is me being authentic. Like, you're never going to get someone who sits down with you to just open up the books and chat like this. Actually, it's not what it feels like at all to the trained eye.
Yeah. What do you think about his comments about Miles Morales, where he said, because some people have been clamoring for Miles Morales to become a live action hero in the MCU, and he was saying that is nowhere. We've been told to stay away. That's his exact quote. until after the Spider-Verse movies are done. So
and that makes sense.
yeah,
That totally makes sense. Like, yes, you want to see Miles Morales, you come to the Beyond the Spider-Verse or whatever in 2 years and another 3 weeks now that it's been delayed further.
Well, let me ask you, is he being cagey? Like, because I mean, Spider-Verse, won't it be done by the time Secret Wars comes out? So couldn't they technically adhere to that by not debuting Miles Morales live action until Secret Wars, but that would come after Spider-Verse?
I don't know what the plan is with Secret Wars. It seems like that's bringing things to a head. Does it really make sense to introduce Miles Morales as we're bidding farewell to this, saga?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right timing. So I know the geeks are probably reading into that too much and being like, oh, well, technically Miles could still show up in Secret Wars.
True.
I just don't understand why you would do that.
It did feel to me, though, Jeff, like he was like a YouTube commenter commenting on the MCU when it's like you were in charge the whole time. This idea, well, we realized it was quantity over quality, it was too much. And that wasn't it. It was the quality of your quantity. And that was the problem. If you had had a bunch of TV shows and movies that were good, nobody'd be complaining. You wouldn't have any issues. You'd be feeling yourself even more and wanting to do more of this stuff. So to me, I think he was like blaming the philosophy as opposed to the execution. And that felt a little bit like, again, brand saving, even job saving in a way, or legacy saving for Kevin Feige, that he doesn't have to take responsibility for the mistakes that were made during this time.
Right. They were all corporate mandates. Right. Yeah. I mean, you're right. And that's the thing. Whenever anyone's doing an interview, like they're looking out for themselves, number one, and to position themselves as the hero of their own story. I don't think he's in any danger or any threat.
No.
Of losing a job or whatever. Yeah, just like at first I was jealous that I wasn't invited to these interviews, and then I realized you can't. These interviews are not like, who cares? Like he's not saying anything. He's saying a lot while saying nothing. Yeah. So I don't really need to be there.
Do you believe that they have a 7-year plan? Do you think they have a 7-year plan?
A 7-year plan?
That's just something insane.
Yeah, it feels like something you just kind of say. I don't know. I think it depends on grosses and all kinds of stuff. I mean, once Secret Wars is done, they're going to turn their attention to X-Men, obviously. They're going to do Black Panther 3. Those are the 2 priority projects. I do believe that, we will be seeing more of Sacha Baron Cohen's Mephisto.
Yeah. You do think so, even though it's in a show that wasn't that well watched or well received overall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that necessarily matters. I'm sure that we'll see Mephisto again in some way.
Yeah.
When he talks about like recasting, like let's get into like the recasting of everything. You know who's going to be recast? David Corenswet is going to be recast as Superman eventually. Isn't he?
I don't know. Why are you saying that? Why would you think that?
What do you mean? This is the natural progression of things. Eventually,
you mean down the road?
Yeah, down the road. And whoever is the new James Bond is also going to be recast.
That's true. Yeah,
these aren't permanent positions.
Yeah.
So when he says, we're going to be recasting, I think he's talking about Iron Man. I think he's talking about Captain America. Those kind of characters were clearly, we've seen their stories already, but like. Doctors, I'm sure they're going to keep some care, like Benedict Cumberbatch and I mean, there's going to be a whole let me take
probably Hemsworth as Thor.
No.
You don't think so? You think he'll be gone? Okay.
No, I think it's time for him to say goodbye.
Tom Holland's probably gone, I'm sure. He's been trying to leave that for a bit. Okay.
I'm okay. Tom Holland, sure. Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't think that like they'll force Mackie to give up the shield, right? Florence Pugh is someone they're going to build around. Letitia Wright, I think, is still going to obviously be a big part of those Black Panther movies. So, it's not like everybody's getting recast, but yeah, the OGs who they started with, I think it's time to recast those roles. In the next iteration or whatever. And I do wonder if they'll bring back Scarlett Johansson. Potentially as like the next Nick Fury. Like,
Yeah.
they position the Black Widow as like the next Nick Fury of this, so she can just kind of go in and out of these movies. I don't know.
Yeah, that's very possible. I mean, because a lot of people have been talking about having her come back. So, and she's a producer. She's now an EP, right, on the something coming up. So why wouldn't she be a part of it? Is there anything else that stood out to you from Feige's answers? I feel like we've kind of touched on everything. Anything you want to hit? Like the X-Men saying that he wants to focus on young people. That seems pretty
Whoa! Wait, you said he's gonna focus on young people? That's wild, John. This is some earth-shaking stuff. I got to get up to Burbank for the next one of these fucking powwows. Come on, yeah. Like some of this stuff is just kind of no-brainer shit.
All right, well, let's move on to the other man in the equation here. Let's move on to James Gunn, who was on Happy, Sad, Confused podcast with Josh Horowitz, and gave about a lot of answers about the process, talked about how terrible it was to let go of Henry Cavill, and kind of alluded to The Rock and the move that him and Jean-Michel Sarah were trying to do there to take over DC. But he also talked about Wonder Woman as being fast-tracked, and that it's not necessarily being fast-tracked, but it's being prioritized. Talked about all the other stuff that's going on in DC, the Batman stuff. Clearly, he's still on board with Brave and the Bold. And said he'd consider the Pattinson thing, just reiterating that, but it didn't go forward. So what do you think about these answers? And then he gave another interview with Rolling Stone with Superman spoiler stuff and what have you. But what do you think of James Gunn's answers to these questions throughout the interview and these other interviews he's done?
I mean, same deal as Kevin, just like saying a lot without saying much of anything. Very non-committal on all the Batman stuff. I mean, it's like, oh, I have someone in mind, but then he still hasn't ruled out the Pattinson thing. It feels like,
yeah.
I mean, it just what stood out to me, I guess, was just like the subtle shots, like at Feige, at the MCU, at Reeves. I don't know. He just feels like a guy who feels like he can do everything, I think.
Yeah, he said, like, we don't go in without a finished script. We're not doing it the Marvel way. And of course, Kevin Feige said in his interview, we've never gone in without a finished script, which is nonsense.
Right. He likes the flexibility of not being tied to the script. I mean, it's just like preposterous. I mean, I commend James Gunn for that line of thinking.
Yeah, sure.
Then I'm also like, okay, well, we've hired Anna Nogueira to write 3 of these movies. So
yeah,
like that's a lot of faith to have in somebody. Either she's the best writer in town, or I don't know what the deal was with that. This is someone who made like a short film and wrote a play and was mostly an actress before she's got all these DC gigs. So I wonder what other writers are thinking about this.
Yeah, and what Jeff's alluded to here is Anna Nogueira was announced today, as we're recording this, as the Humberto Gonzalez reported this in the wrap, that she is the writer of Supergirl. She will now be writing the Wonder Woman movie. And right after he had said, well, we're not fast tracking it, but we are making a priority, they announced the writer they didn't announce it, but the writer for Wonder Woman gets screened. And I think he reinforced it or reiterated it on social media. So, I mean, to me, if they are already getting a writer here, Jeff, and clearly you sense, and you said this on another show, that they've possibly been already having these kind of clandestine meetings with actresses, maybe or with their representatives, maybe, and seeing if they might have interest, seeing if they've got windows of time open to shoot down the road. Do you think we're going to get an announcement for a Wonder Woman very soon, or are we still kind of far off?
I think we're far off.
Yeah, still? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that's something like you'll hear about at Comic-Con. Maybe you'll get a little taste of Supergirl, maybe like a sizzle reel from Supergirl. I could see that. And I could maybe see Gunn revealing the title of the Superman sequel or whatever it is that he's working on next, whatever he's directing next. But I don't think you'll get any substantial Wonder Woman news.
Right.
And again, I'm still working on the director list and have a couple of other interesting tidbits that I've gotten here and there from the DC folks, but DC sources. But I don't know, like he's I just don't like that he's front and center on this press tour, especially after a couple of weeks where America's had the chance to fall in love with David, and yet we're still hearing from James before anybody.
What'd you think of his conversation about the Henry Cavill situation? I mean, because he essentially was saying that, like, it's a little weird. You could look at it like he's throwing WB and Zaslav under the bus a little bit, because he was like, well, or even DeLuca and Abdi, possibly, if there's
definitely there's no question that there's tension between James, Peter, and Mike and Pam.
It seems like it, because why would he say we were signing our deals, and the next day they announced that Cavill is coming back, and that was an Abdi and DeLuca decision. Clearly, the Rock went over Walter Hamada's head, got Abdi and DeLuca to sign off on it. So why would he say that Zaslav and Savran and him were in the same room working out the deals? They had signed their deals and had decided on direction, and then the next day they announced this stuff. To me, it's an attempt to kind of low-key undercut the power of Abdi and DeLuca, and maybe like embarrass them a little bit, even though they've been on a little bit of a run here this year.
I don't think everybody's on the same page up there. I don't know that Casey Bloys at HBO is on the same page as James Gunn. It's like, I think the DC stuff on the TV side has been slow going. Yeah. And that's because the DC stuff doesn't really fit with the HBO brand necessarily. It wouldn't shock me if Gunn had to go over Casey's head, to push stuff through on the DC side. I wonder if we'll get any lanterns at Comic-Con. I'd be surprised, but maybe you'll get like a quick tease.
Do you think he even shows up, or do you think it'll be on video?
Gunn?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I feel like he's just going to do a video. I feel like he's not even going to show up.
Well, what else is there left to say after you're doing all the, spent the last month doing interviews with everybody?
Well, I mean, Peacemaker is coming out. That's it. They're going to have a panel, and he's the guy that made Peacemaker. So I would think he'd be there, but maybe not. Maybe it'll just be Cena and whoever the moderator is for that panel, and some of the actors and some of the writers or rather directors or whatever. I don't know, but it'd be odd if he wasn't there.
I just love that Rolling Stone has become like his fucking, the new messenger.
Well, because for him, James Gunn, who is into the punk rock and the music stuff and all that shit, Rolling Stone represents that, right? I mean, to him, that's like the cool music magazine. And whenever they talked about film, it was cool to have your film stuff in the music magazine. So to me, it makes sense that he would run to Rolling Stone on this kind of stuff. I mean,
Rolling Stone ain't the Rolling Stone that you or I grew up with, and its film coverage, I mean, they're completely irrelevant in the film space.
That's fair.
So I don't really understand it. It seems like the kind of place like an Entertainment Weekly that, is good for, stenography, but is never going to ask the tough questions or push on certain things. So
yeah.
I think it's basically like going to a trade without having the appearance of going to a trade, even though it's owned by the same person who owns all the trades.
Yeah. What about the rumors that there's a Jimmy Olsen series here? This was kind of not broken, but like it was revealed on social media that from DCU leaks, at our DCU leaks, that the Jimmy Olsen series might be a crime anthology series focusing on different DC villains. And
I'd love it.
Hosting.
I thought he was great, Skylar, as Jimmy Olsen. I really like the idea of like, look at what's hot around town, like crime anthologies.
Yeah.
So for Jimmy Olsen to sort of host almost what I imagine, remember in the Natural Born Killers, Robert Downey Jr. hosts that show. I mean, imagine if it was that hosted by Jimmy Olsen. The only problem is like how serious is it? Because he's kind of a comedic character.
Right.
Crime anthology. I mean, you'd have to take that kind of seriously.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what's interesting about the show, is this contrast. But I think that's an interesting idea, and I would absolutely watch that as opposed to Ironheart, which I have no intention of ever seeing.
I just wonder if that belongs on HBO. Like, where do you put that, Jeff?
That's an HBO Max show. That feels like a Max show. Yeah. And I don't know if that's the thing, that all DC shows are going to be on HBO now, but I mean, I don't think Peacemaker is, right?
Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, it's just HBO Max. And that's what this Jimmy Olsen thing will be. If they manage to strike gold with a Penguin, then I could see that being on HBO. Lanterns is going to be on HBO, like the bigger budget things.
I see you're making the delineation between HBO.
Yeah, exactly. Not everything is an HBO project. Some are just Max.
I also think this is fascinating when he was talking about the Lanterns grounded thing. He basically revealed there's going to be no Green Lantern Corps in Lanterns. It's going to be a terrestrial show, very clearly grounded in for that reason. And so I think he's preparing people because people keep thinking there's going to be like the Guardians of Oa, and there's going to be, and even Nathan Fillion came out and said that I have no scenes with Kyle Chandler in the show. So it seems like it's going to be a very limited participation of Guy Gardner in Lanterns overall. So this is, I feel that it's interesting he had to address this.
I feel like they're like, I mean, I know too much about Lanterns. I feel like they keep going up to the line and then backing away from it. But you've got Guy Gardner being like, I don't have any scenes with Kyle Chandler. Mm-hmm. You've got Gunn or whoever being like, this is a show about Aaron Pierre and John Stewart's story.
Yeah.
Do the math on that, folks. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it is an Earthbound story. It's an Earthbound story. It is set on Earth. There's no need to like flash back to the other planets or wherever the fucking core is centered. This is an Earthbound story, and it is very much John Stewart's story.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, no surprise. That's why you cast someone like Aaron Pierre, who is on the come up and is the hot flavor right now. And, you're not going to base it on Kyle. Kyle was the hot flavor for a bit. Now it's Aaron Pierre's turn, for God's sakes. But what do you make? Let's go back to this. What do you make of this? Ana Nogueira coming in to write. Is this just the only person he trusts to write the women in the DCU? Like, this is an interesting situation. Like, does he know? Well, at least she's gonna, I know people get mad at me when I say this, but like, I can work with her and she understands how to treat me respectfully, and she's not trying to step on my toes or take anything from me. And
I think that is a big part of it. I mean, if she was like the world's greatest writer, why hasn't she been hired anywhere else?
Yeah.
Right? How come she's not being hired to write all these other tentpoles by these other studios?
Yeah.
I think it is like hey, we have a shorthand. I respect her take on these characters. We've talked at length about, my vision for the DC universe, and she's going to execute that vision.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised that it was her for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice because it just seems like you're getting one writer's voice for all of these characters.
I have some, and that's the thing, and they're different kinds of characters, so I'm a little surprised. But I do have some tidbits in the newsletter that will maybe shed some light on why they're going with her again.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair point.
Encouraging news and signs.
That's good. That's good. And it seems like this Wonder Woman will be separate from the Paradise Island series. We're not going to see that, are we? Do you think we're going to see that series?
Yeah, I think potentially, yeah.
Okay. Seems like nothing's happening on that. So I don't know how much we're going to see on that.
I mean, it's hard to say what nothing's happening on, right? Is there nothing happening on Booster Gold? Is there nothing happening on Waller?
It's true.
Yeah. I wish somebody would pin him down a little bit.
Right.
But he doesn't want to be challenged. That's why he talks to the press that he talks to. Why he goes to Rolling Stone.
That's true.
I mean, Rolling Stone is just flat out not an insider. They know the person at Rolling Stone knows as much as Joe Schmo in Kansas.
Yeah.
And if that's who you want to do your interviews with, that's fine. But yeah, I think a real industry reporter would know what to ask and know what buttons to push.
Fair point. All right. Anything more you want to say on the James Gunn with Kevin Feige situation? Or have we kind of talked to
not really. This is PR, right? This is all just part of a plan put together by a publicist, executed by the PR department.
Right.
This is I just didn't find anything terribly illuminating to come out of these two sessions.
Someone felt that, I can't remember who was reading. I was reading somebody who was saying like, well, there was a hesitation when he was asked about the Alan Ritchson Batman. Do you think it's possible that it wouldn't be the standard Batman? Because if you're doing a Brave and the Bold Batman, that's a Batman that's a little lighter and is a little, not necessarily Adam West, but
I think he could handle lightness.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you think, I felt like they were insinuating that it seems to be more of a possibility than maybe it was before, that it could be Alan Ritchson playing Batman, that version of Batman in James Gunn's universe, whereas the Robert Pattinson is something else. Do you think now it seems like that could be more possible than before?
No, I don't think anything has changed. I think he's like he said, there are some people who I think about from time to time,
Right.
what they might look like in the cape and the cowl or whatever. I don't think he knows what he wants to do yet. I think it'll be interesting to see how the Batman 2 performs. And just again, I was talking about it at basketball this week. Now the guys had a chance to see Superman. You have an actor everybody likes as Superman. You have an actor most people seem to like as Batman.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Why are we adding another Batman to the mix?
Yeah.
What if we don't like that Batman? What if he doesn't compare to Benson's Batman? I mean, it's just I think Warner Brothers needs to pick a lane. I understand. Yeah. Well, if we pick a lane, then we're waiting on a Batman movie every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Whereas if we have two Batman, we get more Batman movies. And that seems to be pretty lucrative, but
more Batman all the time.
Yeah, to me, it just takes away from what you're trying to do with this universe. Either build the universe or don't. There's no Marvel Elseworlds.
Yeah.
And I think if there had been, it would be fucking confusing. So
that's the thing. That's what's fascinating about go back to the Cavill thing. That was what was fascinating to me. Like, what would have happened if Black Adam had been a hit? What would have happened if Shazam 2 had been a hit? What would have happened if The Flash came out and had been a hit? Would James Gunn have been forced to create his universe, and DeLuca and Abdi would have essentially been assigned these Sneider characters to create that universe? Would we have seen an Elseworlds universe from DeLuca and Abdi and a main universe from Gunn? I feel like he would have never stood for that. I think would have eventually tried to kill that other universe in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, I want the audience to dictate what we see, right? You would think. And, the problem with this universe stuff is that it puts too much power in the hands of one guy, and it puts you too far down the path in a certain direction. So, like, okay, the Superman movie's doing okay, but what if it did poorly? What then? What if it just like flat out bombed, which it didn't? But what if it did? Do we just continue because, we have this, contract with Gunn and this relationship? I mean, I just think the universe stuff is like so 10 years ago. It's already outdated. It's already aging and showing us wrinkles. So
yeah, I mean, Feige's desperate to. I mean, Feige can't wait for Secret Wars to finally screen so he can be done with the multiverse. Like, you can tell that Feige's in that place of like, just 2-3 more years, man. I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. We can go on to the mutants and I can mess around with all of that. You can just tell. So it's ironic that James Gunn is coming up right behind him with this whole universe that he wants to do. And I just think, as I was reading the article, it just struck me like it would have been fascinating to see, like, speaking of other worlds, if in another world those films were great. I wonder if James Gunn would have stepped down, would have not even done his Superman, because he'd have been like, I'm not competing with the Sneider characters, because then the Snyderverse people would have never shut up. Like, it would have gotten even louder, the Snyderverse. And then you had James Gunn's universe versus Snyderverse characters.
Snyderverse is such a small movement. Like,
it doesn't seem like the way people react to it in the halls of WB.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we're going down with this.
I was just saying, I think it would have been fascinating to see what would have happened with that, but it didn't happen. So we're where we're at now. But yeah, you mentioned Superman, $406 million so far for 2 weeks. It's not bad, Jeff. Actually, kind of good.
It's not bad. But again, the show's over this weekend with Fantastic Four. It's going to have a real steep drop.
You don't think it has legs to hold on?
Internationally, it's still weak.
Yes, true.
And again, when you're talking about 550 as if it's $1 billion, there's a problem, right? Like, we're gonna get to we can cross 400 now. We're gonna cross 500. Okay, well, call me when you hit 600. I mean,
yeah.
This is Superman. This is the crown jewel of the studio summer.
I agree.
I don't understand how the expectations have changed all because some article said 500 is the break even point.
Right.
Again, anything under 700, and to a lesser extent, certainly to a greater extent, 600. That's a disappointment.
I think it's fascinating, right? Because it's like,
and the way he blamed, sorry, John, the way he blamed, like, well, people don't like Superman. He's like, there's just too much anti-American sentiment.
Oh, right, for the international numbers, yeah.
It's like there's plenty of American movies that did pretty well.
F1 is doing really well right now.
Yeah.
And when Fantastic Four comes out, those are American heroes that's going to do well overseas as well, I imagine, if it's good. So, yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a weak response because, I mean,
this is America's fault. It's on you, America. It's if we had, had a higher standing in the world, my movie would have done better.
I mean, Superman is not in red, white, and blue, for God's sakes. He's red, yellow, and blue, and he's from another planet. It's just like this idea that it's an American. I get that it's an American hero, but the idea that it actually affected the box office, I think, is a bit of a straw man argument, honestly. That just seems a little bit crazy for me. Oh, Jeff just.
I'm here. I need my phone.
No worries. Yeah, of course. But yeah, to me, it's just crazy to say that. And yeah, it provides him a little bit of cover. Oh, it's not my fault. It was America or Trump's. Listen, I'm not one to take away any fault on Trump, but this one, I don't think he carries. This one is absolutely just people didn't. And look, the critics were coming after the film internationally. And I think that's reflecting what you see from the audiences overseas, that they see that it's a little bit of a frivolous film. It's not as good as they were hoping it would be. And that's why the box office is weak for that. And I agree with you. Treating 550 like it's $1 billion, it's nonsense. So two things can be true. One, it's actually a disappointing return if it only hits 550. I don't care. Like you said, I don't care how much they try to claim that it would be a great return. But it has got people excited about the DC universe, at least domestically. And so you've accomplished that goal. But don't try treating Superman like it's $1 billion movie. It did get good publicity, good press. People are liking it. It's great. But, if it tops out at 5, or God forbid, less than 5, then I don't know what we're talking about at this point.
I think it'll break 5.
You do?
But yeah.
I see some people talking 7, and I think that's insane.
I don't think 7 is in the cards here. I saw somebody talking 8. I mean,
8? No.
People are delusional. People don't know how box office works, John.
Right, clearly. What about, speaking of box office, Jurassic World? I mean, what's the top on that, dude? 650 now? What's the top here? 7 or 8?
It'll probably get to 850, 900 maybe.
Jesus Christ! Wow.
I mean, but that is, some may think of that as a disappointment because that's $1 billion franchise. That's probably unlikely to crack $1 billion.
Yeah,
but it's performing better than people thought, and it's outpacing Dominion.
Yeah, I thought it would absolutely crash and burn, but it is outperforming better than people thought for sure. All right, well, let's move on to one more story here. As long as we're done, with everything. Anything you want to say on DC Marvel side? Anything you want to reveal? Any tidbits? Anything you've heard in the wind? Nothing right now.
I gotta save what little I have for the newsletter.
Understood. What about this news before we leave this show, Jeff? Adria Arjona has been cast to replace Taylor Russell in the Thomas Crown Affair with Michael B. Jordan. Taylor Russell having exited over creative differences shortly after filming began in London. It's so good that Adria Arjona was just lying around waiting for a job and was able to take this. What are your thoughts on this? This feels like you had Adria on the speed dial for quite some time, and we're like preparing her like, well, if it doesn't work out with Taylor, we're going to jump on it. What do you think on this, man?
I've heard some things.
I'm
trying not to be too gossipy here.
Okay.
I think you guys can do the math.
Yeah.
I think whatever you're thinking, that's what happened.
Yeah. Because it feels like to me, they weren't happy with Taylor and they were trying to force her to walk away from the project so they could get Adria Arjona on it. No? Oh, no. What do you think it was?
No.
Okay.
Creative differences, John.
Yeah.
We have creative. What is that supposed to mean with an actress who's hired? Like she's like, I'm not going to read it this way, or like, actually, I think the scene should be this.
Yeah.
That would be creative differences. I don't think that's what's going on. I mean, first of all, I think she was miscast anyways.
Okay.
I don't read Brilliant Investigator from her.
Okay.
And I think she's too small. I think she still comes off like a girl to me.
Gotcha.
Or a young woman rather than a woman.
Right.
So
what do you think happened here? What do you think happened?
I mean, I know what happened.
Okay.
How about without telling you, I'll say it's a tale as old as time.
That's Beauty and the Beast. I don't know what that means. Tale as old as time.
A tale as old as time, John, in Hollywood. You don't want to put this together?
I can't. You know, sometimes I don't follow along your more your thought patterns on these things.
I think when you're making a movie, people get close.
Oh shit!
Maybe too close.
Oh shit!
That can spill over into things, and I'll leave it at that. That is what I think happened here, my friends.
So Jeff does not have to confirm this at all, but it sounds like to me what you're saying is that Taylor and Michael got together and it didn't work out, and now he doesn't want to work with her on the film. And so he goes and gets Adria Arjona. But clearly they had this as a backup plan for quite some. Jeff, you don't pull it. You don't get an actress like this like over the weekend, for fuck's sake.
I mean, I thought that was funny. Where it's like we're getting a ton of incoming calls of women who are throwing their names in the rings. I mean, I do think it was pretty sudden. Right, they're in the middle of shooting. I don't think this was like, oh, we've planned this all along.
Right.
I think it was just clear that like there was some lingering residue, maybe some lingering resentments on people's side, and yeah, that's listen. I think it also goes to show why, you know, as a director, you need to behave a certain way.
Good points.
Because there are repercussions.
Like the boundaries.
So, yeah. I'm really trying not to get too into the weeds.
You don't want to get caught with your HR person at a concert.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's pretty obvious what happened here.
Wow. All right. Well,
hey, neither one of them's married.
That's true. Do you think it affects Arjona at all if they were to announce Wonder Woman? Like this is the way down the road. You just said it's not. You don't think they're going to announce anybody for a while. So this is a good next step for her. Having worked with Glenn Powell, having done Andor, now you're working with a hot commodity like Michael B. Jordan coming out of Sinners. Like this is good for her career, don't you think?
Yeah, it's good for her career if the movie's good.
All right, good point.
If the movie stinks, then it's not good for her career.
Right.
I think it could hurt in the sense that it makes her more famous, which I think works against an actor. Works against an actor when you're trying to cast them as Wonder Woman.
Gotcha.
You don't want to be up looking at Wonder Woman and be like, oh, that's the girl from Thomas Crown Affair.
Right.
So
that's a good point.
I think, again, this is an interesting fan cast, and to be clear, the fans got their way with David Cornsweet.
That's true. Yeah.
They fan cast him. I have no problem with Adria Arjona being fan cast as Wonder Woman. I think she'd be great. Right. But at the end of the day, do I think it's going to be, if I had to put odds on like this is someone we know versus someone we don't know, I'd take the money on someone we don't know.
Okay. All right. I still think it's going to be Monica Barbaro, but you might be right. It might be someone we don't know. I think Adria was good fan casting. I just don't see
Monica
that.
Barbaro?
I just don't see. What? Too small? She's the same size as her. 5'7".
Is she?
Yes. She towered over Chalamet.
Yeah, I think you need an Amazon woman.
What are you going to get? You're not going to get Katie O'Brien.
I don't think 5'7" is going to cut it. I think you need a 6 foot like woman from like some fucking Greek island.
Maybe you need someone who can act.
That too. That would be nice.
Yes. People saying
that would be nice.
People saying DeBecky. I don't see that happen.
No. It'll be someone with dark features.
Oh yeah.
That's why I saw all the reports on my Google alerts on my own name this weekend, where it's like Jeff Sneider says it'll be a Mediterranean actress. It will be someone who looks Mediterranean.
Right.
I think it'll be someone with darker skin, olive skin, dark hair. It's not gonna be Elizabeth Debicki.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Yeah. So
we will see. We'll find out for sure.
And that's just what I think. I'm all for a Latina Superman.
Me too.
As well.
100% all for it. All right. Any last things, Jeff? Did you get a chance to see anything over the weekend? Anything you want to say? Did you see the new Predator trailer that dropped Badlands? Did you see that one?
Yeah, Predator trailer looked cool. I
mean,
I liked the Predator just putting like half of the android Elle Fanning on his back and carrying around like a human backpack or an android backpack.
The humor was good. Her going, okay, well, have fun on your journey. I thought that was hilarious. So the fact that they've got a little bit of humor amidst all the madness that's going on, I think is great as well. If you did you see anything? Did you catch anything?
I caught some stuff.
Okay,
I caught whatever Ari Aster was putting down in Eddington.
Oh, did you like it? Did you recommend
it? Was okay. That was okay. It was better than Beau is Afraid.
I hear the last 15 minutes unravel. Is that true, or would you say that's not 100% accurate?
I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by the last 15 minutes. It gets like crazy violent at the end, and then it's like a Very Bad Things kind of ending.
Okay.
But it's a dark comedy. It's not so much a Western as it is a dark comedy. It was one of those movies where you're sitting in the theater and people are laughing and you don't know why they're laughing.
Right.
And then maybe you laugh and no one else is laughing. So a weird movie, a movie that will have you saying what the fuck when you're walking out. I understood kind of what he was going for, and it was watchable. It was certainly better than Beau, but I don't think it's anywhere on the level of his first two horror movies. And I think it's a miss overall. Okay. I think he's 2 and 2, and the next movie will be the movie that tells the tale of Ari Aster.
Gotcha. Anything else?
I'll tell you what else.
Okay.
I was gonna watch Amy Bradley is Missing on Netflix, right? The new Netflix true crime thing, which is just the missing lady of the week.
Already finished.
Was it good?
It was good.
It was. Good. Okay.
It was engrossing.
I put it on for 2 minutes and I was like, you know what? I want to watch something of substance.
Okay.
This just feels like I'm watching it because it's in my, in the preview, or it's available on Netflix and it's new. So we went back and watched Quiz Show.
Oh, the original, the Robert Redford one?
Yeah. Watched it yesterday. Yeah, just a really good movie. Like, they just don't make movies like that anymore.
That film, I'll tell you something, Jeff. I think it's 1994 or 96. I think it's 94. Completely underappreciated movie. I remember seeing that movie and trying to tell everybody I knew who was into films like to go see this movie. This is arguably Redford's greatest film in terms of dialogue, direction, and performance. Rob Morrow was never better in a film. He was great, of course, in his TV show, All the Exposure, but never better in a film than he was in this film. And this is secretly one of Turturro's greatest performances as well. I mean, just the scene between even Paul Scofield and Ray Fiennes when he has to finally reveal what he did is devastating, man. It is such a good film.
Yeah, all the performances were great. Just so many great character actors.
Yeah,
a fantastic film if you haven't seen it. I feel like if today that was made, they would let John Turturro have a dead tooth. That dead tooth was tough to look at sometimes, but it made him a man of the people, made him an everyman. Yeah. That's not what the NBC Corporation wanted anymore.
No, that was good. I mean, Scorsese was damn good, and Azaria as well.
I was surprised to see him. I forgot that Scorsese had a fucking acting role in this. It was wild.
Geritol. All right. Well, I saw Untamed. We ripped through that in 2 days. The new Eric Bana Netflix series with Sam Neill. So good. It is not excellent, like, oh my God, cataclysmic, but it is damn good. And I did not want to watch it. Like, we put it on because we were having dinner. I'm like, well, all right, we'll try an episode. And just blazed through the first 3, then watched the next 3 yesterday. Highly recommend.
I read that THR's review of it because I watched the first 30 minutes and the opening was great. I was like, this is one of the best openings I've seen for a show like this.
Oh yeah.
But for some reason I didn't keep going, and THR's review was like, yeah, the first 15 minutes are kind of the best moment of the whole series. I haven't decided whether I'll go back and watch that one, but your recommendation makes me think that maybe I will.
Yeah, try it out. Amy Bradley, though, it's a good one to watch. Yeah, I definitely recommend.
You had to choose between the two.
I'd watch Amy Bradley for sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Just because I think that's because there's a couple of convenient things that happen in Untamed that you're like, look, if the show wasn't overall good, I might have an issue with this a little bit more, but I'm cool with it because it's working for what I'm doing. And it's great to see Sam Neill. I mean, look, Bana is going to be Bana, and he's essentially playing like a Clint Eastwood type character. But I'm always happy to see Sam Neill do some interesting stuff. And the woman the actress who plays the young Latino that he is schooling how to be a ranger, she's great. And I'd never seen her in anything, so it was a nice discovery. So,
okay,
highly recommend. All right, well there you go. That's our show for this early on this week. We'll definitely have our main show a little bit later on in the week, talking about probably all the Comic-Con news that has dropped up until that point. So look for that a little bit later on this week. But thank you so much for joining us, Jeff. Please let people know where they can find you and subscribe to your Insnider newsletter.
TheInsnider.com. If you're getting this Tuesday morning, then you'll know I just dropped a big scoop. Yeah. Literally big on Monday night.
Yeah, a bowel movement of a scoop, y'all. Absolutely. There you go. As for me, at The Rocha Says, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky Threads, all that kind of stuff. But please subscribe to the channel down below. If you love the content we're doing here, stuff like the Hot Mic, other shows that we got, it's important to subscribe and hit that bell button so you see when it's dropping. Leave all your comments down below. We weren't live, so if you want to send contributions and support, you can hit that thanks button down below as well and send in some love for the show. All right, thank you all so much. Take care of yourselves. Be well. And if you've missed it, by the time this drops, my out-of-theater reaction for Fantastic Four will be up on the channel, so watch it then too. All right, take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll talk to you next time with a brand new episode of The Hot Mic. Peace.